He won the Golden Boy Award in 2015 and was arguably the most exciting young footballer in the world. Anthony Martial was on a trajectory to unimaginable success, until everything came crashing down like a ton of bricks. It's been 9 years since Martial's record-breaking move to United as the most expensive teenager, and it continues to be a story of predictable problems, injuries, poor attitude, and club problems. Now 28 years old, Martial's future seems bleak at the moment. What really happened to Anthony Martial? Born in Paris in 1995, the stars were aligned for Anthony Martial's future as a world-class footballer, hailing from the same Parisian area as Thierry Henry and playing in a similar position. Martial was often compared to his compatriot as a kid. He was strong, fast, and skillful to say the least. Due to his obvious talent, many clubs were fighting to get his signature and get him into their academies, one of them being Manchester City in 2007. While Martial and his family turned the Citizens down, but by 2009, Martial got drafted into Lyon's academy, and 4 years down the line, he found himself in a remarkable Monaco side that also featured Fabinho, Bernardo Silva, and Yannick Carrasco. Bet you forgot that. Anthony Martial's 2014 and 2015 season in Monaco that saw him score 12 goals and contribute 5 assists brought more buzz about his talent. Manchester United, who a season earlier had made a record-breaking £30 million signing for a teenager in the person of Luke Shaw, were willing to break their own record, just to bring Martial to Old Trafford, and that's how it played out. United ended up signing the Frenchman for an initial £36 million and an overall sum of around £58 million in performance-based add-ons, an extra £7.2 million, and Martial scored 25 goals within 4 years. Another £7.2 million if he made 25 appearances for the French national team, and yet another £7.2 million if he won the Ballon d'Or. Well, on a side note, United ended up not paying the full amount as Martial only met the first requirement. Okay, so back to the gist. 11 days after his unexpected move to the English Premier League, Anthony Martial made his United debut against Liverpool as a substitute, donning the number 9 shirt. Fast forward to a few minutes later, and the 19-year-old was already on the scoring sheet, thanks to an outrageous solo goal. He followed that performance with 2 more goals against Southampton the following week, and the Anthony Martial hype train was fully up and running at this point. The season ended with Martial notching 17 goals and 9 assists and an FA Cup win under a Louis van Gaal-led United side. It was literally United's first title since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement. However, we were in for a plot twist. Louis van Gaal, who brought Martial to United, would get sacked, and under Jose Mourinho's reign, Martial's progress would become disruptive, and he would literally become non-existent for the most part. Attacker after attacker came in, and Martial dropped down the pecking order. The Frenchman would also lose his number 9 jersey to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, and Marcus Rashford were all ahead of Martial. But going into the 2019 and 2020 season, everything changed. Martial got his number 9 jersey back and shut everybody up with his performances. We saw the very best of him once again. 23 goals in all competitions after returning to his center forward role. The time had now come for Martial to own this position and finally live up to his potential. Or so we thought. Apparently we were all tricked. Since that season, Martial has spent most of his time either on the bench, injured, or suspended. For the Anthony Martial FC fans, they were quick to say that he was just a shy and reserved guy who happened to be the victim of too many managerial strategies, but that excuse seems to have run its course, as many fans have complained of Martial's apparent lack of interest on the pitch. In the 2020 and 21 season, Martial played in just 22 Premier League games due to injury. There was even an attempt to restart his career after the Frenchman joined Sevilla on loan in January 2022. But still the same story. Predictably, he continued to be plagued by injuries, leading to 2 spells on the sidelines in just 5 months. Just 3 months after joining the Spanish outfit, Martial already admitted that he didn't see a future at Sevilla. The club didn't see one with him either, because they didn't bother to negotiate a permanent deal with United. Martial's loan spell with Sevilla only made him less enticing to other clubs, rather than more so. I forgot to mention earlier that he barely featured for the French national side all the while. Out of favor with Erik ten Hag, which was the same case with previous coaches, nothing has changed for Martial. The £72 million acquisition of Rasmus Højlund from Serie A side Atalanta during the summer only pushed Martial further down the pecking order and also closer to the exit door. At some point, Ten Hag has tried to keep Martial for a much-needed cover across all competitions, but the end seems inevitable. The forward has only scored 2 goals in 19 appearances in the 2023 and 24 season, as at the time of this recording, and the harsh truth is that in most of these games, we only get to see a player who once had the world at his feet. Martial never really took off. The pandemic season aside, many fans are of the opinion that Martial has never been good enough to be Man United's primary striker. Although he is an adept finisher and has those lightning bursts of speed, his inconsistency is just on another level. Brilliant one week, lethargic the next. At the moment, Manchester United are willing to listen to offers for the Frenchman, who is in danger of seeing his contract expire. We all know that the club is by no means in a hurry to negotiate fresh terms or exercise an option to extend Martial's contract by another 12 months. The 28-year-old turned down a potential move to Saudi Arabia in order to fight for his place, but he has failed to convince so far. Ten Hag's decision to haul off Anthony Martial in the defeat against the Cherries was met with ironic cheers and boos in December 2023. Getting booed by your own fans definitely says something. The 28-year-old has a £250,000 per week salary, which expires at the end of the season. Many fans have already suggested that Martial has been a financial problem for the club, and he doesn't want out of the club just yet. The Frenchman has reiterated that he wants to see out his contract. Now primed to leave as a free agent, well, unless something crazy happens, we find ourselves asking the same question all over again. What really happened to Anthony Martial? We could point out a few probable causes which might have affected Martial's performances almost throughout his 9-year stay with the club. Number 1. Playing position. In numerous interviews, Martial explicitly stated that his preferred position was at the center, but most Man United managers weren't buying all that. Martial has mostly split his time both on the left side and at the center, and to be fair, he had his chances on both sides, but consistency was the problem. So to the elephant in the room, winger or striker for Martial? Where do you think he thrives best? Number 2. Confidence. To many fans, Martial has always been a confidence player. A few good performances and you literally see him beaming with confidence. A few bad ones and he just enters into a slippery slope. With many managers showing their lack of faith in his potential, low confidence remains one of the biggest problems that have been attributed to Martial's downfall. Number 3. Weight of expectation. Brought in as a boy with a hefty price tag and a huge chip on his shoulders to turn around the fortunes of a struggling team that had its glory days behind it, Martial seemed to not be able to cope with the weight of expectation, and that could have factored into his performances according to many fans. Number 4. Injuries. One of the more obvious reasons for Martial's stop-start career has been related to injuries. His body let him down numerous times, and it begs the question, has Martial just been one hell of an unlucky player? United legend Rio Ferdinand had this to say about Martial. I think the most frustrating thing about him is that he's actually gone backwards from when he first signed. Just like Ferdinand, many fans believe that Martial is a symbol of Man United's era of failure, but what do you reckon? Anthony Martial might go down as a player who was destined to be great, but never lived up to his potential. Or he could still turn it around and have a great couple of seasons elsewhere. After all, he is still 28 years old, and in theory, it is still possible to change the general narrative about his career. But what are your thoughts about Anthony Martial and his legacy at Manchester United?